Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite dark sorcerer, Michael Heisen, aka Angelus, son of Abaddon. And first of all, I'd like to apologize to those who are looking forward to my video tonight at 10 p.m. Been having some internet issues due to a storm. And so the last 24 minutes I've been trying to get onto that online so I can actually do this video. Um hey, Salute. What's going on, man? So anyways, tonight I wanted to discuss with you karma versus hexes, or I should say hexcraft, because hexes and curses befall the same thing. There are only two different techniques, okay? Whereas karma is considered to be universal. If you think about the law of three when it comes to paganism and Wicca, karma is like the threefold law. Okay, what you put out is eventually what's going to happen coming back towards you. Okay, the equal and opposite reaction. Okay, cause and effect. Uh, well, it depends on your point of view of having a good time. My 3-day vacation from work is a good time. Now, most of you probably have heard my videos, the last couple of videos where I've talked about bringing the legal system in and dealing with certain aspects of sorcery and respecting the inner and outer sanctum. All right. Now, here today, I'm going to discuss with you some things. And I'm going to break it down for you. All right. Now, first off, what is a hex? A hex is a teaching tool. This is where the sorcerer or sorceress, the magician, the magi, the sage, whatever title you've earned, okay, witch, warlock, whatever, has the ability to teach an individual a lesson, okay? Now, this is the kicker. A hex is nothing more than a tool used to remove things from an individual's life until they learn, okay? Even if it cripples them, that is what it's made to do. It's a non lethal technique. They will lose their friends, their family, their jobs, their finances, anything that the sorcerer or sorceress desires to happen. Okay? That's the expression magic viewpoint of it. What you desire for them to lose is what's going to happen. Okay? Now let's go into a curse. Okay? A curse is simply to kill an enemy. Okay? It is something that will utterly destroy them. When we think of devil traps, okay, let's say for an example, you've had an enemy attacking you for a month. Okay, not just you, but your family. A curse is a great thing. Okay, number one, you can have seals of protection, cloaking, um, even reversals. Okay, but when you plant a devil strap in the mix, okay, and that enemy steps on it and it flips, it could be a reversal where anything that they're willing ill tent wise on you suddenly hits them point blank like a kick to the balls or a punch to the face. All right. Now, depending on the practitioner's will, you can use anything from herbalism to a hex jar to, say, for an example, a gristris bag. Okay. Herbalism plays a huge part in it because of the fact that when you take things like sulfur, gopher dust, for an example, that is linking the individual. Think of it as a red light, okay? When special forces target a vehicle or perhaps a location with those little those little handheld gizmos, they're painting that target, okay? Sulfur is a means to attract demons, okay? Gristris bags that are aligned with both sulfur and gopher dust not only paints that individual, but labels them for termination with extreme prejudice. Okay, you are unleashing a force that these individuals are how should I say this, not unwilling to deal with, but more the fact that they are unprepared to deal with. Okay. And when you add in graveyard dirt, that is the termination. That is the Da'ath energy. Okay. That is death essences, the negative being placed upon that individual. All right. Now, when you put all three in, it's a nasty combination. Okay. When you utilize, say, parchment paper with the person's name, um, say, apartment number, say, for an example, rusty nails, you add in black candle wax or red candle wax. Okay. Black symbolizes death, it symbolizes the void. Okay. Empty expanse where there is nothing. Red is a symbol of wrath, it is a symbol of rage, anger, hate, despise. Okay. And it's also a symbolization of desire. Okay. Your intent to inflict this curse upon your enemy. All right. So putting these together really, really plays a huge role in revenge spells, okay, such as hexcraft and cursing. Now, as I discussed, hexing a person or an individual, an enemy, is only teaching them a lesson. Now, you take my situation for an example. Hello, Lolan and Felith Surfer. How you doing? Welcome to the video. Now, you take what my family's been under for the last month and a half. Our neighbor has been causing a lot of mischief. Okay. I'm talking a lot of mischief. I'm talking harassment, stalking, um, destruction of private property, terrorism, even. Okay. Now, according to the legal system, unless they catch this individual in the act, it is nothing they can do about it. But it is considered to be a landlord issue. Okay. Now, this individual has pounded on the walls. He's created terrorism, child endangerment because of the fact that glass picture frames have fallen, shattered near my son. Okay. And he's called the cops. They've all, been up and down the floor and all this stuff. And they've said there's been no noise. Okay. He's written report after report after report and just begun stalking. Okay. Now, what do they say about the serpent's tail? It can easily become the head of the serpent. Okay. Now, around the 3rd of December, we received a lease violation due to noise complaint. Now, this individual could have stopped there, but no, he didn't. He called the cops back. He did all this other stuff. He tried everything he could do, okay, to get us evicted because he doesn't want to live next to a family that has a 2-year-old, okay? Now, I ended up doing a curse jar, okay? A curse jar. I added in sulfur, graveyard dirt, candle wax. Okay, I literally marked him for complete and utter destruction. Okay, you can call on spirits like the black dog, the zombie, the ghoul, say for an example, the vampire, the lycanthrope, the wraith, the reaver. Okay, these are all agents of death. You can also call upon those of, say, for an example, the banshee who can predict the death of someone, okay, and send them after them. Maybe, but you make it personal, all bets are off. Okay, so I ended up doing this ritual and literally just signing his ending it completely. I'm done. You know. Now we ended up having a meeting and a sit down with the landlord. Okay, who read all the instances that we had written down, dates, times, where the noise is coming from, when does it start up, the whole king caboodle, as much information as we could pack into the last month. Okay, we gave to them. And they said, okay, we're going to talk to him. And within a day and a half, okay, this was last Tuesday of last week. Okay, so by sometime between Wednesday night and Thursday morning, this individual went out and drained the air from my son's mother's front tire to the point where it was barely in the double digits. And then he decided to slash my tire, the rear left driver's side tire. Okay. And at this point, I shifted gears. And when I found out about it, I took her vehicle over, filled up the tire. There's nothing wrong with it except for this normal small leak, which is very, very little. It's once every 2 weeks, sometimes 3, that we have to fill it. But my car was completely on the rim. It was 100% unfixable. Okay. So we ended up waiting a week so we can get roadside assistance, all that stuff. Got all the facts together. I notified the landlord, um, notified the police department, and today I actually went over because we got the word back from the garage who inspected the tire and said flat out it was a puncture wound. It was purposely put in there. So we went to the police, filled out a report. Okay. Now you add the curse with this report in, he is signing his own termination at this point. His world is beginning to unravel. All right. And what this means is every step he takes from this point on, he's not going to have a leg to stand on because the curse is specifically designed to be a slow, painful termination. He's going to lose everything. I'm done fucking around with him. I've tried to be patient. I've tried to be understanding. I've even tried talking to the guy twice. The last time I talked to him, he came back with a verbal threat. The next time, you won't like what happens. Same night, two different vehicles. Okay? And now we have the proof to back it up. So now the law is involved. So not only is he putting his place of residence at risk, his freedom at risk, but now he has jeopardized himself by adding another legal charge against him, which makes 4. Okay? And still collecting. So not only does the landlord have this list, but so does the cops, the legal system. All right? Now, all we have to do is just sit back and let him destroy himself at this point. So, a curse, like I said, is always a good thing when all avenues have been explored. All right? When you've explored all options, you've tried talking, you've tried, sitting down with the landlord or whoever, your neighbor and stuff like that, and try to work things out, try to find out what the root of the situation is. When that has failed, rely on good old fashioned black magic. Black magic never fails. Now, think of it this way: Hecate is not only the goddess of witchcraft, ghosts, the underworld, and necromancy, but she is also the goddess of justice. Just like Osiris in Egyptian mythology is the god of iniquity. Okay? You can call on any god of the dead, be it Supe, be it Anubis, be it Baron Samedi. Call on the goddesses of hell if you wish, if you're more comfortable with female energies. Okay, like Hel, Bastet, say Hecate, Ereshkigal, and Anna, even going back throughout history. There's so many of them that from every culture that you can call on, not just agents of death, but gods of death, goddesses of death. Deal with the planetary sigils. Okay, these things play in your favor. Okay, and one of the best things that you can do is do these things, these destruction rituals, when it is the waning moon, meaning it's the end of the full moon. Okay, when you have a full moon and you're doing a curse or a destruction ritual, always do it at the later half of or tail end of the full moon. This is when it is dark. It is very, very potent time to do negative workings. Okay. Now, personally, I would do it myself because I like to deal with things myself. But in this case, I cannot do that because I am a father and I am a family man now. So I will not put my family at risk by doing what I used to do. So black magic it is. All right. Now, you can use items such as the photo of an individual. If you know their name, their age, their address, you can write all this stuff down. You can even use a photo. Now, one of the best things that fit destruction rituals is this: expression magic. Expression magic is when you utilize the strongest thoughts, the the visualization, the hatred, the rage towards that individual, everything that you feel and do. Now you consider Salute here said, I am too passionate for that. But you know what? You can use that passion by utilizing the image of your enemy, your desire and willpower for what you're seeking to do. Okay. This is called an effigy today. Okay. In today's world, it's also known as an effigy. In the past, it was expression magic. Okay. It's expression sorcery, which means you're visually utilizing it or you're utilizing something that resembles that individual, such as, for an example, a voodoo doll. Prime example right there. Okay. Utilize a photo, place it on your altar, charge it up, spend every single moment that you can spitting on it, defiling it, utilizing that photo in such a manner that it's disgracing them as a human being. Okay. You could spit at it, call them names. This is all expression magic, sorcery at its best. And you can have, let's say, for example, you're working with Pazuzu and you're doing a ritual like Joseph Nunn did. Use sea salt around it, and make a circle around it, spit on it, humiliate it, defile it, whatever, and then open it up and let the gods of destruction get in there and do their thing. Okay, by opening up that gateway because you've charged it with with your ill intent. Okay, these are things that you can do just from your own inner sanctum. All right. Now, how does this place to karma? Okay. Karma is what you put out is what you get back in. Let's say, for an example, you do good deeds, like one good deed. I had a Nazarene friend. This guy taught me everything I know about cars. Okay. I knew him for like 4 years. All right. And this guy had been a sheriff for 20 years. He's been a mechanic for over 25 years. Okay. Um, right up until the point he ended up with a artificial hip from falling 21 feet off a roof. Okay. Shattering his hip. An entire elders at his church ended up getting some form of cancer. Okay. And he ended up with brain cancer himself. And eventually, this led to him taking his own life. Okay. But his belief structure was that if you do one good thing per day, that's one good thing that's going to be coming back at you. The same thing with negativity. Okay. So basically, if we think about the threefold law, like I said at the beginning of this video, what you put out is what you get back times three. Okay. Now you got the threefold law, you have the tenfold law, and you have the 100-time law, okay, of return. And that's if you believe in that aspect, okay? I've been around long enough to know that you cannot rely on the legal system. You cannot rely solely on people's goodwill, okay? People say they're going to be there for you, but in the end, they're really not. Okay. People can lie to you over the phone, they can lie to you to your face, but they can't lie to themselves. And the one thing I always tell people when they ask, why do you not call them out on their bullshit? Okay. And this is why. Okay. Number one, when you have somebody online going after you, okay. Now you take Talia Curtis on scratch that. Her name is now Petrova from Children of the Serpents. Okay. She had a history of going at me because of the fact that I made her look like an amateur, a fool. I made her look stupid in her own group. Okay. Her own Facebook group because she swore up one side and down the other that Satanism is not considered a protective religion. Okay? Now, here's the kicker. First Amendment. What makes up a religion? Number one, place of residence. Okay. Number two, doctrine. And number three, a following. Right there are three categorizations that make up any form of religion. Okay. Satanism has all three. They are recognized by the Department of Justice and the American Civil Liberties Union. Okay. So it is a protected religion according to the First Amendment. All right. So I showed her actual proof and photos of this. Okay. And she banned me from her group. She blocked me. And then she started talking smack about me behind my back. All right. And what's funny is that here we are a few years later. A lot of her cronies have been doing the same thing, just coming at me, coming at me, and coming at me. And each time they're made to look the fool. Why? Okay. It's called karma. All right. Number one, by me not doing something. Okay. The world is seeing them for who they really are. And number two, by me not doing anything, they're defeating themselves. Okay. Because eventually they're going to trip themselves up, which they always do. Okay. So it's a win win situation for me. Okay. That and the fact that they're also building up a reputation for me. So it's like Anton Zandalave said, why should you go out looking for to make it a reputation when your enemy can do it for you? The exact expression that he used is make yourself known and your enemies will do the rest. And that's exactly the way it is. Okay, so in karma situations, you can sit back and do nothing. Just say nothing. Just let them talk their smack. Let them do what they got to do. Okay, because eventually they're going to get bored and they're going to move on. Okay, that's the first thing. Or number two, they're going to just keep on attacking until all of a sudden they defeat themselves by fucking up. Okay, Talia Curtis did this. Okay, my good friend and brother, Joseph Nunn. Okay, he's been following my work. I love his work, especially in evocations. Okay, this man is a freaking genius when it comes to it. Okay, I've never seen anybody have so much results as Joseph Nunn has. Okay, it is the same thing with Frank White's work from the Grail of the Serpent. Okay, and what's interesting to note is that she got underneath his post and said, I am very disappointed in you because you are liking and commenting on his work. And he basically fired back and said, in a nice, polite manner, I follow you both. I am not going to choose, but I'm going to respectfully ask you do not post this negative stuff on my channel. Okay. And it's like, and I saw this, I read this. Okay. And I had to laugh because I had this little smirk on my face when I read it because of the fact that it just bit her in the ass. Okay. I've had two individuals in my since I came online in 2013 try to underhand my work. Okay, and what I put out. All right. Two people, Ty J. Dawson, who I used psychological warfare, but it wasn't just me that targeted him because of the fact that he ended up picking a fight that he could not win. Okay, we called him out on his bullshit. We literally, utterly ran him off social media for a year and a half, till he came back and begged to be let back on. Okay, and we let him be. About a month later, I started getting reports that he started trash talking me. You want to be friends with me? You want to be my student? Then you got to block this individual. Well, I've never told anybody to block my enemies. I've never told anybody not to follow somebody. And this is why. You have a right to follow and like whoever the hell you want. Okay? If you want to follow Trump, go for it. Personally, I find the guy to be an arrogant little prick. But when it comes to business, the man's a fucking genius. Okay? Now, the only reason the Democrats hate him is because he doesn't put up with their bullshit. He tells it the way it is. Okay? What's that old British saying from that TV show? You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Yeah, basically. So, anyways, as I'm saying, karma is this. You can sit there and attack somebody until you're blue in the face. You can send all your friends to attack this individual. But in the end, karma's going to win out. And this is why. Because the world is going to see you for who you really are. And number two, you're going to end up defeating your own works. Okay? I can't tell you how many times I've seen practitioners come into play only to come short and defeat themselves through hypocrisy and duality. I've always lived my life by two simple rules. Whatever you preach, always back it up. And number two, always make yourself available to the public. So karma and curses are a good thing, literally. Okay? Karma and curses are a good thing. Number two, you're killing three birds at one stone. You can use the system of the law. You can utilize curses, hexcraft, whatever you need to do to get the job done. But in the end, the only person that you can trust is yourself. Okay? That's why so many practitioners hold true to the witch's creed, the witch's pyramid, the witch's oath to know, to dare, to keep silent, to will, and to go forth. Okay? Now you notice that third one there called to keep silent. Okay? To keep silent means you stay silent. With whatever works that you do, keep silent about it because of the fact that if the person's a practitioner, they're going to be able to undermine it. They're going to be able to reverse it. They're going to be able to have a chance to do something about it. But if you don't run your mouth about it and you just sit back and let it happen, you'd be surprised at what happens. All right? Even when working with agents of destruction, such as, say, Ariok, Sabnuk, Abaddon, say, for an example, oh, I don't know, let's go with Baron, let's go with Supe or Anubis, Hades, Zeus, Ra. You know, if you really want to reign hell and chaos, look no further than Set. Okay? Set and Loki and Mephistopheles. Those would be the three that I would choose for somebody right off the bat. Number two, and this is why Loki is a trickster. Okay? He's one of those beings that will rain chaos in your life. He will, when you're looking to your left, he's going to attack from the right. He's doing something completely different over on the right. Mephistopheles is also a trickster. You have to be very, very careful on what you utilize for words. Okay, if you make a pact with this being, you really want to be careful on what you're going for because he will flip it around on you. Okay. Which is why he's classified as a trickster. Okay. Set. Okay. He is a god of chaos, storms, and he's also the Egyptian devil. Okay. Yeah, exactly. One of the other things that people have always gone with is as above, so below, so mote it be. Okay. That's just a phrase to say it's done, it's over. It's basically the acknowledgement that you're done, your enemy's fate has been decided. Okay. So even if you say, like you said, if the universe wills it, so be it. Okay. That's like going to Osiris and saying, weigh this individual's iniquity. The feather versus the gold. Okay. The feather versus the gold. So when you look at this, what's going to sink you faster? Your own guilt, your own stupidity, your own, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, you basically hang yourself. But if you go on to say, for an example, one of these gods of destruction, like say the 36 deacons of destruction, plagues, disasters, and you unleash them upon your in waves, say, for an example, predict, let's say you send a banshee towards your enemy. Okay. And then you send the hellhounds. Okay. You torture your enemy in ways like, say, for an example, oh, let's go with the zombie powder from Haitian Voodoo. Okay. Go with, let's say, for an example, a hex. Okay. Tear his world, your enemy's world down from the spiritual point of view. Okay, let's say, for an example, the astral projection, going into the astral realm and weakening his world, his or her world there. Okay, constantly hexing him or repeatedly, so that that karma and all that desire and will and intent is being placed upon him and constantly built upon. So to the point where it's like hitting your head against a brick wall. Okay. Um, you could also you then go into a curse and physically end your enemy through the wraith, through the vampire, the lycanthrope, the black dog, the hellhounds. Okay, and one of the best ways is just to send a hellhound after them because they will suffer greatly. I'm talking bites from an invisible being, claw marks, howling. I mean, have you ever heard a wolf's howl in the wilderness? Especially when they're nearby. It's kind of like that hair on the back of your neck standing up. It's really intimidating, scary, even. You know, I once did this howling thing with a project where you went out with video equipment. I'm talking the mic. I'm talking everything else from the listening, the radar and stuff like that, and going into these areas in the woods and just start howling, just to count how many wolves are in the area. All right. But what's interesting is when you get nothing in return, nothing. And this is where the karma comes in. The reason you get nothing is because you're not looking in the right area. One thing we learned going out studying wolves in their habitations is that you can howl all you want, but if they're close by, they're not going to make a sound. It's like dealing with velociraptors. You'll be looking at the one in front, but that's not where the attack comes from. It comes from the sides. Okay? And wolves are the exact same way. They're solitary, but they're also pack hunters. Okay? So when you get in your vehicle and you turn on the lights, and all of a sudden it's like you're seeing a pack of wolves right there. It's like, shit, they were a foot from me and I didn't see or hear them. That is what hexcraft is. That is what karma is. You will not hear it, you will not see it, but it's there and it will rain hell upon your lives. So, hexcraft and cursing and karma is a very good thing. Okay? So, keep that in mind when you go out and do this stuff, because I know those who know me knows that I do not cast curses upon people just for shits and giggles. You have to do something very, very serious for me to actually curse you. Okay? Although I have had a few clients that actually paid me to curse them, which is kind of ironic. It's like, why would you want to be cursed? Why would you pay somebody to curse? But if you think about it, it's more of the fact that you're trying to build up that psychic awareness to test for yourself. So, how to send a hellhound at someone? Hellhounds are associated with Hecate, not just demonic beings. Okay, they're not just ruled by demons. They're actually pets of demons. There's one dog normally that breeds these beings. In my own personal experience, when you have hellhounds as your guardians, your protectors, say for an example, you have hellhounds protecting your altar room, patrolling your property, okay, because you made pacts and deals with certain beings like, say, Hecate or Hades. Okay, say for example, you have familiars such as cats. That's Bastet. Cats are guardians of the underworld. They protect the underworld. Cerberus, the three-headed dog, protects the items of hell. Okay, much like Baphomet is the guardian of hell. Okay, he's the wealth giver from the myths of the Knights of Templar, who they worshipped. Okay, so the best thing to do is to give them a task. Hellhounds are notorious for literally perf- doing exactly what they're told. If you tell them to go after a certain individual, guess what? They will not stop until that objective is complete. They're not like a demon where you can actually call them off or divert their attention to someone else. Hellhounds are single minded, they fulfill their task. You can, if you have them in your service, much as a familiar to a witch or a warlock, a sorcerer or sorceress, if they're in your service, you can command them to do tasks, protect your family, protect your property, protect your altar. Um, you know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. But first, you have to build up that relationship and make those pacts with the right beings. And for that to happen, you have to know which beings are able to produce them. But it's really not that hard to send them. So let's see. Yeah, Shiva. Shiva's another one, just like Kali the Destroyer. So that's what I would use. But anyways, I'm gonna sign off. I want to thank everybody that's participated here. You can always get in touch with me on Facebook Messenger. I will reply, especially over the next 2 to 3 days, because I happen to have the all 3 days off. And until next time, Agios Satanas, and you too, Lolan. Have a good night or good day, depending on where you are in the world. All right. You can ask the questions here on my videos, or you can get in touch with me through Messenger, um, or on Facebook. Either way, right, I will reply. All right. With that said, have a good night. Until next time.